Hey there, YouTube. I am Jax Colon, and I want to welcome all my new little flood of subscribers that have come in. I'm really pleased about the response that I've got for my anarchist morality video, although I can't claim the credit for the language that exists in it. That's all thanks to Peter Kropotkin, who I've just started to read and really hits the nail on the head as far as I'm concerned with a lot of his points. But that's not what I'm here to do. I made an introduction video a long time ago. I think it was like my second video. It's called Political Philosophy. You can check it out if you want. And that's where I kind of define just who I am, you know, what the viewpoint that I'm coming at YouTube from. And I decided, since, you know, I've gotten a new little influx of subscribers here, I'm gonna go back and reiterate some, but probably redefine some too, because that's the beauty of political philosophy, is that it's always changing, and it can't change if we don't criticize what, you know, we thought to be true. Because that's the only way the truth will emerge, is if there's open discussion and all voices of dissent are given equal voice. So yes, I'm an atheist and I'm an anarchist, although I identify myself more as an anarchist than as an atheist. I think I have like one religion video, and you know, I'll make some more in the future, but it won't be my primary subject, just because since I don't believe in it, since I don't feel that there is a God, I've come to terms with that. For me, I don't feel like I want to spend the time debunking a religion or a superstition that I already feel is incorrect. You know, and I'm by no means criticizing people who do that, because, you know, if you're funny, you can be really entertaining. Bill Hicks, who's one of my saints, he talks a lot about religion, you know, and all that material is great. But for me, I like to focus more on political philosophy. And my anarchism is not a justification for unlimited self-expression or complete personal sovereignty, because that will infringe on the rights of others, inevitably. You know, if your focus is purely on the individual and the unlimited liberty of the individual, you're going to run into problems of, you know, people's interests conflicting, and that's going to create some tension. And we already have enough tension. We don't need to add fuel to the fire, I guess. My political philosophy is very much still being developed. You know, I'm not claiming to have any answers at all. But my anarchy, it's not a prescription. The chief tenet of what I believe to be anarchism is that, as an anarchist, you should believe that all governments and states are inherently evil and oppressive, which I do believe. Some people are going to suggest that to combat this, we, you know, dissolve all states and put everybody on an equal playing field. Now, if we dissolve the state, but the thing about anarchism is, the thing about anarchism is that it doesn't just deal with government oppression of the people or economic exploitation of the workers by the capitalists, but anarchism deals with any sort of domination in any realm of society, whether it be the lawmaker or the judge or the priest, you know, dictating what is morally correct or just in the eyes of the law. It also deals with domination in terms of male-female relationships, domination in terms of the educational system, when you're in a classroom and your teacher is unjustly exercising this limited amount of power they have over you. I'm a little bitter about high school, can you tell? Some people's prescription is going to be that we dissolve everything, but then do you go a step farther beyond that? Do you expropriate everybody's property from them? Personal property, I'm still pretty torn on. I do agree with the idea that a person's labor entitles them to possession of property. I didn't define that right, but, you know, you have more of a right to claim something if your labor created it and brought it into being than someone else, unless you agree to sell it to somebody or to trade it, or, you know, for whatever reason, transfer it to someone else. But I also think at the end of the day that that sense of ownership is just as legitimate as creating it by your labor. So that's my philosophy regarding personal property, and all that is even more in its infancy than my views on anarchism in general. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what qualifier you would put in front of anarchist, which is you know, another problem I have with, I guess, the state of anarchy in general, is that we have to come up with so many qualifiers, because there's such a debate going on within the anarchist community, but I guess that's not bad from what I said before. Debate is a good thing. If you were to dissolve the state tomorrow, we would have chaos. But in a chaotic society where the person with the most guns gets to tell other people what to do, that is not an anarchistic society. That is a stateless society. But again, a stateless society is not synonymous with an anarchistic society. And people say that, okay, so this anarchistic society you're talking about, that's a utopia. That is a world where people inherently respect each other and don't infringe on each other's rights. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's the case. And if that is the only way we could live in an anarchistic society, we'll never get there. Yes, I inherently do not have faith in human nature. I do believe that, we're greedy. And this, this comes from my experience. I believe that we're greedy and motivated by self-interest, primarily. But that even goes against what Kropotkin was saying in his thing. We're not motivated completely by self-interest. We do have natural feelings of solidarity within, the human race. And this can be seen by examples mainly through, primate societies. Social groups naturally exist, and they somehow instinctually know that in numbers, as a society, we can progress much faster and are more able to deal in the struggle for existence if we struggle within a larger group. And think about it on the African savannah too. Millions of years ago, if a lion came across a solitary human, that contest is pretty. Even if he's got a spear, that contest is pretty one-sided. But if you get 6 of those humans around that one lion, the odds are starting to even up a little bit. So solidarity with the species is something that we really need to consider also. Wow, I've gone off on quite a few tangents here, but I'm just trying to lay out some groundwork so people will know where I'm coming from when I'm talking about these various issues. I don't see my anarchism as a prescription of how to fix society. I look at it more as just a starting point, a philosophical base from which I'm going to perceive all these different issues. All the big issues, death penalty, healthcare, everything. I'm going to perceive these from my, anarchistic base. I'm not recommending a violent revolution because I wouldn't want the government that would be put in place through a violent revolution. But yeah, I think I have a book review coming up next. But after that, who knows? All kinds of videos. For those of you just joining me, yes, I love movies also. But actually, more than an anarchist, I am a movie geek. So, check out some of my... Even if you don't check out the movie reviews themselves, just look at the titles and check out those movies. And then maybe afterwards you can see my reviews and converse about some of them. They're mostly classic movies that aren't, in the theaters and stuff. But that is it. Cheers to everybody. I have to get to work now. Wasting too much time with YouTube, but I'll talk to everybody soon. I look forward to having conversations with the new crop of you. Oh, and thanks to Luke 12,000 and Sarah Han 606, sorry. Both of you guys featuring my anarchist morality video on your channels. Much appreciated.